Hello Targar friends, hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout. You guys know the rules. Please click like down below before you watch the PR. We got a very clean 605 today under control, so click like for that please, I would greatly appreciate it. I knew I was going to get this today. It wasn't really in question for me. I was actually going to do a deficit pull today, and then I got over and started loading the bar. I'm like, I feel good. Let me just go ahead and PR, because a lot of people are saying, well, your chain stuff doesn't count. You don't deadlift 600 plus. Okay, I'm like, well, let me just go ahead and knock it down, and then show the plates. And, the 575, it looks a little slow here, but honestly, it felt really light at the top. So I'm like, if it feels light up here at the top holding the weight in my hands, I'll go ahead and go for 605. Because all my math on the chain says 605 was doable without any psych up. And you guys see, I walk over pretty chill, pretty calm. There's no screaming or yelling. Just set in tight, get in and pull. And I'm happy with the pull, feels good. It's another milestone to be officially past 600 on a conventional lift that would pass in comp. Using a stiff bar too, so that's an extra bonus. This is my stiffer bar. Notice there's not really much whip happening there. All right, that bar's pretty stiff. But yeah, a lot of people noted with the little preview earlier, I just popped right through that sticking point, locked the top part and held it. The grip work is helping. All the chain work is helping with that. So for me, if I miss a deadlift, it's going to be around the knee, probably, right? Because you guys see my little sticking point, but then I blow past it. So the 650 is I think, pretty well in the tank. I went ahead and my low back was tired. I realized I wasn't going to do good mornings today. Even the glute bridges felt a little hard. It's like, man, these were challenging today. Had to reset my feet, get them in position a few times. But I did 500 for 3x10 on this. And yes, I used more weight on this than my hip thrust. Some people are like, why is the weight difference like 70 pounds, right? Well, because the hip thrust has a longer range of motion. But I feel like this is better for my deadlift. I feel like this to me feels like it works the muscles in my deadlift more. And, I really need those glutes to be able to kick in hard. When I hit my sticking point, I've got to have the glutes to help me drive through. A lot of people are like, oh, it's the upper back. No, my upper back helps with the lockout. But it's not that sticking point. That sticking point for me is really glutes. And the reason I'm going through it faster is I've been doing all this glute work. And I feel like for me, I have target goals for these lifts. For me, I think once I can do 550 for 3x10, my deadlift's going to be real good on these glute bridges. And yes, I talk about the accessory lifts a lot because this is really how we build our lifts, guys. I don't build that deadlift because I pull heavy once every 4 days and use the chains and stuff. Yes, that matters. But we've got to build the muscles. We have to build the muscles involved. We've got to build hamstrings, glutes, erectors, grip. And grip training is a high priority for me. And bench is taking a higher priority. I'm doing some stuff different with the bench. I think we're starting to see it slowly creep up, like these other lifts have done, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, my training focus is more upper body. Almost half of my lower body days are upper body exercises. They have to be, and we need that though. We need that for the deadlift. And I feel like it does carry over to my squat. My squat's just excelling. I have no doubt where my squat's going. But I skipped the good mornings today because I've got a squat in 48 hours, and my low back felt really fatigued after all that. It was like, man, that was a lot of work. That was a PR, but we felt it. It looks clean. I held it strong, but that means the grip training's working. But this is part of the grip training, and this is the one that you guys see. Yes, I do other grip stuff 3 out of 4 days every week. It's not as critical as this. This is the real deal right here. High volume pin leg rows with that axle bar. That is probably the biggest factor in improving my grip, right? Although I've had other people look at that though, also in the comments, you should go for 700 this year, guys. That's lofty. Let's get to the 650 first, okay? Let's get to 650, which is the goal. It's obtainable. It's within reach. Then when we get to the 650, we set the next goal, okay? And I think that's reasonable. I think this year 700s, I think that's a bit lofty, guys. I think that's out of reach. I don't think that's realistic for 2020. I could be wrong, but I'm being pragmatic here. I know I can get 650, so let's get it. Now, once we get 650, we reassess, maybe the next year. But people also have to remember that I'm going to have to do at least a shortcut at some point this year as well. I'm going to have to trim a little bit extra fluff off. Because I do need to stay inside certain weight categories. I need to give myself room to grow. I'm going to need to drop 10 pounds of fat at some point. So, that can interfere with extreme goals beyond what I've already set. So let's just get to those goals and then assess. But I also on here, I went ahead and I did something else, because I've told people, well, I do really high rep band curls, and I went ahead and did one of my sets immediately after my rows. Because people are asking, well, what do you mean? What's the purpose of those? What are you doing with them? And I don't really show them on camera because I usually separate them out. We don't need them in the training footage. It comes down to tendon health. Yes, they will help biceps. Yes, 40 and 50 rep sets will grow small muscles like biceps. But it's a supplemental work to all these rows. I mean, 30 sets of 10 on pin lay rows, especially with that axle bar, will cause some bicep growth. But we'll obviously get more from the really high rep curls. But what's the real reason? Is it just for biceps? No. It's build connective tissue, okay? I don't want to suffer another bicep tear. And so we're proactive with that. Being proactive with that. Building tendons. And when you guys see the way I do it, you'll understand, because it's not like a slow controlled bodybuilder curl. It's very fast, where you get kind of that stretch reflex against the bands. People would say, well, what does that do? Well, it causes micro tearing in the tendons and in the connective tissue. And a lot of that connective tissue is on the end of the muscle fibers, the fascia, up near the terminal ends of the muscle. All right, by causing micro tearing in those things, we can induce hypertrophy in a lot of those tissues. Now, that's not going to make your muscle that much bigger. It's not like connective tissue, even those fascia like that, they're the lower insertions and stuff, really are going to contribute to size. They're really not. It's not going to make a noticeable difference. But what it will do is strengthen all of it. It'll make it tear resistant. So we build the forearms up. We build the grip up. That alone will help reduce bicep tears. But then we've got to build those tendons up. Okay, that's one of the things I realized I needed to do. If I was going to go back and mess with mixed grip, I need to put a lot of effort into tendon health, tendon hypertrophy, tendon strengthening. Same thing with just the more stable forearms and grip. That will actually reduce the chances of a bicep tear. Just because you have a better hold on the bar, get more support structure around that area. So that's one reason I'm doing the tons of forearm work and grip work on top of it. It'll help with all of that. So it is a part of the training, but I thought I would show one today because people are wondering. I've had a few questions. What do you mean? What would it explain? Show it. And it's a good time to do it because I did a little less training today because I took the good mornings out. And so it's a nice way to end the video coming up. By the way, on these I did 12 on the final set. So it's not really 10 by 10. It's 10 by 10 plus 2. Which is good. It means in the future I can probably micro load this up a hair. But I'm not that worried about it. I'm getting a good result from it. If anything, my back is growing still, even though I'm using the axle bar. Getting good grip training. And because I have to re-grip it a lot of times, you guys notice I have to re-grip because my forearms cramp. That helps. That means that I'm getting extra back training because my grip isn't limiting as much because I have to re-grip it. So the back training is good from it. The other thing is that it seems to hurt really in that area. I need to help stabilize my bench. Because my bench, I've got to build my forearms and grip up on my bench. It is absolutely essential for me too. My forearms are limiting my bench press, my ability to get the correct hand and forearm position with a heavy weight that keeps me from bleeding energy. Okay, that matters. It doesn't matter when you're benching 200. You get past 300, that stuff can matter. The reason guys with big old thick forearms can be better at benching. Well, usually they have shorter arms on top of it. I don't. Okay, but the shorter arms can impact how effective their forearms are at stabilizing stuff. I don't have that advantage. I don't have that advantage, guys. So what does that mean? It means I've got to build those forearms. And the axle bars are one of the things I'm doing. I'm obviously doing other stuff. So here's what I mean by fast band curls to failure. I went past 50 reps. I wasn't able to count. At a certain point, this burns and you just can't count. But when I say fast reps, you're trying to get an overspeed eccentric from the band. Okay. You want to get an overspeed eccentric. That causes micro tearing, and because of the really, really high reps, we build blood flow to the connective tissue, which will help it grow, help it recover, help it hypertrophy. So this is one of my anti-bicep tear tools that I'm using. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.